Hi everyone. In today's class, we'll see one of the important interview question. Okay, that is, what do you mean by an immutable class? Okay, so what is the mutable? Mutable means which can be a kind of something like change. Immutable means which can't change, which can't change general, right? So basically, if you would like to tell the definition of an immutable class, means it's a kind of a class, it's a kind of a class whose object state, whose object states can't be altered, can't be altered, then that kind of class I can call it as immutable class. Means, for example, let me take, there is a class called test class. Test t equal to new test of something like 5, something like this. Means once I have initialized a particular object's value to 5, I cannot able to change its value other than 5. That kind of class I can call it as immutable class. Means for the particular class test, I have created an object t whose data members, whose data members can't be changed. This is what we call it as immutable class, right? For example, let me try to create a class test. Okay guys, this is int a variable, int a variable, and there is one more class called class something like main class, and there is a main method is there. Okay, fine. Now can I create object for the test class? Yes, test t equal to new test of something like that. Now can I able to access the variable value a? Yes, t dot a equal to 5. After some point of time, can somebody access the value of a and can able to access the, can they able to modify the values to 7? Yes, they can able to modify the 7. So can I call now this test class as immutable class? No, I can't call this as immutable class, because once I created an object, I can able to alter its value. Initially my value of a is 5, and then later part my value of a is 7. Later part I can able to modify the value of a to something like 9. So that's why I'm going to call it as not an immutable class. It is not an immutable class. So to make it to the immutable class, what kind of changes we need to do? First thing is, can we restrict this all the things? How we are going to access all them, all of them? Yes. By making use of private entity, so that they cannot able to access outside of the class. First thing, right? So all these statements I cannot able to modify. Fine. Then how we are going to initialize this data member? Is it possible to initialize the data member directly from outside the class? No, it is not possible. So what you can do now, you will try to create a constructor. Try to create a constructor where this constructor can able to pass some value. Then I am going to make this j equal to a. So while initializing the constructor, I will pass the value, so that it is not possible to initialize the values of the variables other than through constructors. What is the alternative way to initialize the constructors? Can we go with some kind of setter methods? Yes or no? Yes. So you should not allow to use setter methods. Once you should not allow to use the setter methods, then I cannot able to modify the value of a. Yes, fine, that's good. Fine. You may observe one thing. I will make this as final, so that I should not make modifying to modify this particular variable, right? So to make a class as immutable class, to make a class as immutable class, what kind of modifications you have to do? You have to make all the fields, you have to make all the fields as private final variables. This is one point you have to take, and you have to initialize variables through constructors only, but not with setter methods, right? So if you are going to allow with setter methods, what will happen? Somebody may call the set a method multiple times, so that they can able to modify the object state or not. Yes, That's the reason you should not allow to write setter methods, right? And one more important point, you should not allow to make the class as subclass. Should not make allow to make them as class as subclass, right? So not to allow make class as subclass, then can I make the class as what? Final. These are three things you have to remember, right? Fine. So let me go with an example so that you can get clear idea. So I'm trying to create a class. So the class name is Immutable class example, right? So this class should not be, for example, my class name is, let me call as JK, and I want to make this class as immutable. So I should not participate in inheritance process. First thing is I will make this class as final. Class as final, right? And also, if I am going to have variable something like int j comma k, those variables should be made as private and final, right? As they are final, can we able to initialize them? Private final int. Okay. So to make it more clear, I am going to write in the new one, right? So now, as I mentioned, it has a final. These should be initialized, right? One, how I am going to initialize? I am going to initialize with the constructor, guys. Int j comma int k. This dot j equal to j and this dot k equal to k. Fine. These are initialized through constructors. Once I initialize it through constructor, is there any necessary to provide any kind of setter methods? You should not allow setter methods. But to get the data, can I go with the getter methods? Public. What is the return type? Int get I value. Int get value. Return j, right? This value is j, right? So I have to go with the public. Return type is int get k. Okay. I am going to return k value. That's it, right? If somebody wants to use it, they can use it, but they cannot able to modify this, right? Now, if they are going to create an object j equal to new jk. How we are going to do it? They have to create, they have to pass the values 5, 6, right? Can they, once they initialize the values, can anybody able to modify the state of the j? No, it won't be possible to modify the state of the j. Then I can call this class as immutable class, right? Then what is the advantage of this immutable classes? Guys, especially it is useful while working with parallel accessing. So something like multi-threading environment, right? So basically, once we create an object, something like t, if I am not able to modify this t, can parallelly we allow multiple threads to access? Yes, that is what we call it as thread safe. So which means that these immutable classes are going to be a thread safe in the multi-thread environment because of these object states cannot be changed once it was created, so that we can able to share these instances with the multiple threads also, right? And somebody try to access these kind of objects, can we able to prevent the unauthorized access or not? Yes. That is the advantage of immutable classes. Guys, I have a question here. Can we have any predefined immutable classes? Yes. Many kind of immutable classes are there, right? Among those, one kind of immutable class is what? String class is an immutable class, and something like all kind of wrapper classes will be comes under immutable classes. something like local date is a kind of immutable class, local time is a kind of immutable class, etc. Like this, we are going to have various kind of immutable classes are there whose object set cannot be changed once we created it. That is the advantage of immutable classes. How we are going to create the immutable classes? By following these three principles. Okay, fine. Hope I understood clearly.